Welcome back, Cult Lords fans, for our latest movie review. This one, Dane, is with the number one director of all time, Steven Spielberg.
Oh, I thought you were going to say John Ford.
Oh, no.
Spielberg.
Yeah. I know your favorite one is what?
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. And in my list, it was Steven Spielberg, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you always get something pretty good, I think, with Spielberg. So I was excited to see the Fabelmans. But, before we get to this review, a couple things we want to do, get out of the way. If you are new to the channel, please go down, hit subscribe, hit like, and tell us in the comments if you liked the Fabelmans.
We need some Bible bumpers on that channel button.
We need anybody on that subscribe
Bump that channel button. Bump that channel button.
Yes.
Bang that channel button.
Yeah. So, if you, like I said, if you haven't seen us before, we are the Cult Lords. We do movie reviews. We usually put one out a week. We do trailer reactions. We usually put one out every other day. We do episode reviews. We just finished up The Last of Us. Did Game of Thrones. Looking for our next one that we'll do. Music reviews, whatever, top 8 lists, comic books. Yeah, we do all unboxings. So you get a lot of stuff if you subscribe.
Yeah.
So you probably already have 50 subscriptions. Why not add one more today? All right. Second thing we want to get out of the way, Dane, when we talk about this movie.
Yes.
We're going to go into heavy spoilers.
We're not holding back.
We are not holding back.
Bring out your red shirts.
Yes. Spoiler review, red alert. All right. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want anything spoiled for you, hit save on this video. Go watch the movie, then come back and watch our video. And then the last thing, we always like to start off our reviews with a drink. That's always been our MO. And Dane, what are we drinking today?
Well, we're drinking Old Cask Rum.
Rum Man.
And
this one is the butterscotch tasting one,
yep.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, not the super butterscotch tasting one. That was the other one. But this one is, I don't know. This is high end, I don't know, 40, 50%?
I don't know.
I can't see what it says. Too light.
No, need your glasses.
I need my glasses.
All right. So, Dane.
But it's a tasty beverage.
When we start
Good
these
mixer.
shows off, we're going to talk about the Cult Lords ratings and what we rate it. We actually do this up front to let you know what we think, and then we talk about how we got there. But before we do the Cult Lords ratings, we always like to compare them to the generic Rotten Tomato scores, right? So you have not seen these, Dane.
No, I have not. I do my best to not watch those. I do anything I can to avoid seeing those. I
avoid them until
I don't want them to taint my professional opinion.
I avoid them until right before we tape. After we've done the Cult Lords,
and then he changes his score really quick.
I know. All right. So I want you to guess, what do you think the critics gave Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans?
Well, I mean, I didn't watch all of the Oscars, but so for me, I'm thinking the critics gave it a 62.
62. Okay. It was up for a couple of Oscars, right?
Yeah.
Best Picture, was it?
Yeah, and I think
sound,
sound, because John Williams did it again.
Oh yeah, John Williams, the score.
And
then I think Steven Spielberg was nominated as director, right?
That I don't know.
I
wasn't sure. And also, I think Judd Hirsch.
Yes.
He was nominated for best supporting actor.
Okay.
And then Michelle Williams, didn't she get nominated for something?
Man, now you're gonna make us have to.
Don't worry about it. You guys can easily go check this poop out. So
yeah. All right. So you think the critics?
They were there. They were all there.
You said the critics gave it a 62. What do you think the fans gave this?
A 71.
71. Well, Dane, you have underestimated this film. Because the critics gave it a 92%, whereas the audience gave it an 83%.
Okay.
So
I think the critics were taken in by his Spielberg-ness.
This was his opus to his life.
Yeah.
His unofficial autobiography. But
Sounds like I should have done a Weird Al parody of his life.
Yeah. All right, well, that's what the Rotten Tomato scores are.
So now the important ones are coming out?
The important ones.
Whip these out?
Let's do the Cult Lords ratings. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
3! Not his best, not his worst. 7.9.
Indy used the whip. 7.1.
Indy, they needed some Indy.
Yeah.
This movie needed some whip.
Some whip?
Yes.
Well, I think there was a little whip in there. You just get to see it on camera.
Yeah. Shut that down.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the film.
Well, that's interesting, Mr. Spielberg, with your 7.9.
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to be sucking on the juice.
Sucking on the
Spielberg teat
of appreciation.
Well, like those critics. God.
Yeah. So
talk about delusional, these scores.
So for me, a 7.9 would be like a C+.
Yeah.
All right. So, the 8s would be a B. So like I said, not his best, not his worst.
No.
I was entertained. I was interested in his life, but I didn't feel anything like breaking was in there. You know what I mean? I thought like the whole relationship of his mom was like, holy crap, was his mom really like this?
Is this safe? Of course it's safe. I'm your mother.
And then you go and look, and his mom was really like this.
Yeah.
And what I found out is I did a little bit of research, because I was like, why didn't he just call it the Spielbergs if this is autobiographical, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why was because
there's the Goldbergs already out there.
Yeah. He said 2 things. Number 1, it wasn't going to be 100% true. It's going to be based on the truth.
Because some of it would be boring if it was 100% true.
And 2, he thought it would be weird. He is kind of critical in this of his mom and his dad, and to use their actual names and stuff, and his name.
Right.
He thought it would be a little bit weird.
Yeah, sometimes that's the problem with biographies. People don't normally release them until they're dead.
Well,
and then nobody cares.
Yeah.
No one's gonna go after you to complain.
Yeah.
So I was bored.
You were bored?
I was bored. At one point, I look at my wife and she's playing her game on her phone while we're watching this. At least she didn't fall asleep. And that was when I was reaching for my phone. Like, God, what is up with this movie? He did the cardinal sin. He made a movie about something, but there's no driving, objective throughout the entire movie. Is it about him becoming a director? Is it about him saving his parents? Is it about him proving his worth to his classmates?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of stuff thrown in here, but there wasn't anything that kind of was an overarching
I think
objective.
It was about all of the things that went on in his life that shaped who he is. And
thank God for Judd Hirsch.
Believe me, Sammy boy, I get it. Family, art. It'll tear you in two.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the entire movie, and it was, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised he got nominated for that.
Yeah.
He did a great job, but it was such a small little thing in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, he did get nominated for that, didn't he?
Yeah, he was going to get a supporting actor for that, but there's too many.
5 minutes.
And it went to Lee Kwang Ki.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, from...
which is the entire movie.
Yeah. So, but, I thought it was interesting. I knew that growing up, Spielberg used to make movies with his neighborhood friends. And I didn't know he lived in Arizona, because it was always in the desert that he would go film his cowboy films, his war films.
Yeah, they made that very obvious in the movie.
So I knew all that.
That stuff's all true then. Okay.
I knew, that he obviously was raised Jewish, and but I didn't realize how religious his family was in that. But yeah, it sounds like his dad was a genius for IBM.
Yeah, that was interesting.
You know what I mean? But
then they never really went too much into that.
Yeah, but his mom, I guess because of his dad's obsession with his job, wasn't meeting all the needs of his mom.
I don't know about that. I thought his mom at one point was bipolar.
And she could be.
This totally looks like she was like, let's get a monkey. And then, oh my God, I got to play sad music. It was up, down. And at one point, you know, this is another thing with AI, I kind of felt like we were watching robots acting out like his parents. Like he had said, act this way, and they were like, gotta act like this. Like, I just felt like the acting was just so off. I was thrown off. I mean, Michelle Williams to me almost looked literally like an AI character from that movie. Like one of those cyborgs that are like, I'm acting like this the whole time.
Okay.
So, I mean...
So why did you even give it a 7.1? It sounds like that's too high for you.
I know. I thought the visuals were amazing. They did a really good job with all, like, the time frame type stuff.
Yeah.
The cars, the clothes, the high school stuff, all of that background.
Yeah, I thought it was, like, interesting, you know, like their Hanukkah celebration, and then you bring in the friends, right? And then, you know... It was a little odd at first, you know, like when they did their first move. I can't remember where they were.
They were in like a city area. Right?
They were in the city, but then they moved to Arizona, right? They were
they were in Oregon. They went to Oregon second, right? And then they went to Arizona third. Isn't that why, like, kind of like... Because I thought there was something where they were all pissed, like, we're moving again? Oh, that was to Hollywood.
Yeah.
They moved from Arizona. Yeah. So there was like 3 moves and the family was all like messed up.
But I think they were East Coast, like somewhere like New Jersey or something like that.
Yeah, because IBM is in New York, isn't it?
Yeah.
New York, so maybe that's where they were originally.
Oh, and I think now that the suburban areas of New York City sometimes were like New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And then you just go across the bridge into New York to work. But I thought they were New Jersey. I don't know. But I know they move out to Arizona. And that's when Michelle Williams goes, oh, well, you got to bring your best friend Seth Rogen, right? I can't think of it. What Seth Rogen's name was.
Yeah, he had to carry him along. And you know the funny thing about that whole
Benny Lowy.
Yeah, when you saw him at first, I was kind of confused at first who he was, what the relationship was there. I thought he was like her brother because of the way she was doing that. Right. Oh, he needs to come with us. We can't leave him at home. I got to take care of my brother. Attitude. She didn't flat out say it.
So you don't really realize that relationship until they really start pointing it out later.
He sees it on film.
And he sees it on film.
And he's like, oh my God!
That'd be horrible, though, if you're a kid, right? And like nobody else saw it. No, his siblings
nobody else. Well, but you kind of get it. Don't you get an impression that that's why his dad eventually didn't bring him to the last part because he realized that this was going to be. You know, he's basically. Well, they never actually consummated. Well, this is one thing they never pointed out in the movie. Did Michelle and what's Seth's name?
Benny.
Benny. Did they ever do anything other than hold hands and kiss? You weren't really sure because they never really went into it.
You don't know.
Spielberg himself probably doesn't know exactly how far it went.
Well, he probably doesn't know.
They didn't do the old meow, meow.
He might not have known then.
Benny.
But you know, it's interesting. I mean, they didn't talk about counseling. They didn't talk about anything. They're just like, okay. You know,
I don't think
Paul was like,
okay.
in
In the 50s.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it probably would have been early 60s at that time when, you know.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that was probably more early 60s. Yeah. Because he was in college in like late 60s. Right. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting how he was being carried along and stuff. But again, you know, that was like a side story, and you weren't really sure like where this was going.
Right.
I mean, because he obviously, and then the irony was he was very key in Spielberg continuing his movie career because he bought him the high-end camera.
Right.
It's for you. I know how much you loved using it for your war pictures, so I figured you ought to have one of your own. It's, bon voyage, see you later, alligator. I believe in you, present from your Uncle Benny.
Spielberg basically was like, I'm throwing this thing out. I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, no, here, I got this Zircon 250 or whatever. And, and that was before the high school part where he started getting his ass kicked the whole time. Yeah,
because of his... You know,
his Jewishness.
I was thinking because I don't know if it was exactly L.A. I think it was more like Silicon Valley where they were.
Yeah, they were in that
for
vicinity.
IBM. Yeah,
right.
And so I don't know if there would be a lot of Jewish people there, but in L.A. there was tons of Jewish people.
I would assume.
But in you know, I guess they didn't have too many Jews where he was there, so he was alone.
Plus, he wasn't. I mean, they talked about it early on where they showed like where there was a Jewish that they were what's the word I'm looking for? Like more into the religion.
Oh yeah.
And then later it completely disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like
except for
the way they were singing and celebrating. Right. I think it was.
And then the moms were there. The
yeah.
very Jewish mothers were tagging along everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right.
And her brother. So it was kind of like a weird thing. I mean, I agree that was interesting because there was a lot of like backstory about like his. Remember when Judd Hirsch shows up and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm scared of him." Like, Mom always talked about him being like some ogre.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, he's not that bad."
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was funny with his relationship with the girl who fell in love with him.
Yes.
And like she's like, "We're gonna pray for this, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Okay."
I'm going.
That just tells you what guys will do for like,
Well, she was definitely on the aggressive side there. I mean, he
was all like, "Okay."
Well, if a hot chick comes up to you and says, "Hey,"
right.
So. And plus, it was like the first time any woman had ever shown any interest in him whatsoever.
But she was cute too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it wasn't that high school stuff was quite interesting just because of the way he was his view of it.
Right.
Because it was totally his view of like high school.
Yeah.
And I bet if it went and like queried some people that knew him, they're like, "What?"
Well,
he wasn't getting beat up all the time, or
right. I don't know. I don't know what's true or false about this. I haven't gone that far.
Plus, the other thing that was interesting, after he did that film of the beach party.
Yep.
And then that guy who's like the stud in school goes and basically wants to beat him up. Why did you show me that way? And then
that whole part,
protects him.
Why did you show me that way?
I'm
not that guy.
Fabelman! Oh shit! You liar! You backstabbing liar! I'm gonna beat your.
Like, it didn't make any sense. And then he protects him after the fact. Like, like, I'm not, like, and I guess what?
That whole part, like,
it was weird. Yeah, I mean, it didn't make any sense. Because after the guy, like, looks like the best king of the hill in the school, turns around and, like, is going to go beat his ass. Like, you made me look great.
I know.
Damn it, man. I don't want to look this good.
I know. It just, that part didn't make sense to me. So. But, I mean, I watched this one with my parents. So the funny thing is, I think my mom and I enjoyed it much more than my dad.
Yeah.
My dad, like, kept saying, like, during the movie, like he said, this shouldn't be up for Best Picture of the Year.
I agree.
And then
Mr.
And then when I watch movies at my parents' house, we always watch like about an hour in, then we pause it, and then we go have dessert.
Oh yeah.
So like my mom will make a dessert.
Is it like super tempting not to continue? Is that
We've never done that, but like we go up for our dessert, and my dad's like, "Yeah, this should not be up for Best Picture of the Year."
Firmly agree.
Only reason why they did that is because this was Steven Spielberg's
and
biopic.
It was his life, and everyone's like, "Dang it, we know him. I can't not vote for him.
You can't not put this up for him."
And I fully agree. I mean, I just, like I said, I went 7-1 because it's Spielberg.
Okay.
I mean, I thought he did a good job with, like I said, the visuals. He meant well in the sense that this is his story. And I actually thought the whole beginning part was really interesting where he was a little kid.
Oh!
Like, that impetus was the best part of the movie.
When they took him to The Greatest Show on Earth?
Yeah. I thought that was all really well done. And then after that, it kind of like went downhill.
Have you ever seen The Greatest Show on Earth with Charlton Heston?
No.
So I just watched that for the very first time, like within the last several months with my parents. My parents had never seen it. I had never seen it. We watched it. That was one of the greatest movies.
Really?
Ever.
Oh.
I mean, we totally enjoyed it.
And it was just early special effects, right? Because there was.
Well, it was in the 50s. It was like maybe 54.
Okay.
Something like that.
And so, like that train that they show in that, I mean, they obviously had to do something to kind of make it look like a real car train wreck. But
So I highly recommend Greatest Show on Earth with Charlton Heston.
Is this the one where Charlton Heston has like really dark hair? No, there wasn't a film noir he did called like, A Touch of Evil or something like that.
I've seen that too.
I've seen that one. But
I saw that in film class.
But he like really had dark hair, almost like he was playing like a Mexican or something. Yeah, okay.
And then he had like a thin mustache.
So it wasn't okay. I wasn't sure if that was that movie or this movie.
No. This is all about Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey.
Well, we'll have to watch it sometime.
So it's really good. So
I'll enjoy it more than this movie.
It was much better than this movie, I will say that. But it seemed like he was traumatized by that train wreck as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's the whole point of film is to take somebody in there and actually feel it really happening.
Right.
In his particular case, it really emotionally hit him.
But the weird thing is you're right. It emotionally hit him, but his escape to kind of deal with this was to recreate it, and film it. You know what I mean?
Well, because his mom came in and realized, if you can film it, you own it. So then he can kind of like rewatch it over and over again. Because I think, wasn't he hiding in the closet? But
he was already doing it himself.
Yeah, that's true.
And then his dad got mad because he
Dad,
you don't do that. We just spent all this money on the train.
I know, man. You don't ruin your train set, son.
So, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it could have been a lot better.
I agree firmly.
Could have been a lot better. I was never bored by it, but there were some slow moving parts.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that the cardinal, again, we go back to the cardinal sin, is the writer is also the director, and he wrote it with somebody else. But still, that person must have been like, it's Spielberg. He must be correct in everything he does.
Tony Kushner was who he co-wrote
it's like, man, how could you... you could easily say the best thing that this movie could be is that I need to get out of this emotional, distraught family life. And the only way to do that is I have to be a full-on director. But half the time, he was, being pulled in from everyone else, remember when he didn't want to do the high school movie?
Right.
And I think it wasn't his girlfriend?
Yeah.
It's like, you got to do it. Yep. They're going to love you. And it's like, okay, I'll do it. It's like, come on.
He said, you can use my dad's camera, which is even a better camera.
Oh, that's right. The super high-end one.
Yeah, the super high-end one. So.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That she even volunteered that. Although they never told you, what the dad is.
What?
Just...
not important to this.
Why he had that kind of dinero.
They had money.
But yeah, and this probably is where the movie failed, was because Spielberg was probably trying to be a little too on the nose with some of his personal, background.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, with movies, you fall into that. I'm just going to write things about things. And we're going to have all these small little vignettes, and then I'm going to put them all together to culminate with me meeting John Ford in the end and him telling me about the horizon and everything. It's like, well, what was the point of that? It's in the beginning and the end.
I've thought about that whole John Ford interaction in the horizon. What do you see?
Right.
This picture.
Did you notice the last little scene, all of a sudden the camera shifted? Because when Spielberg leaves that, he's walking out a lot, and also the camera shifts.
I pointed that out to my parents. Did you see how they did that?
Right.
Based on what John Ford is saying. So
yeah.
Yes, I did notice that. So,
but still, it was like, why does that have to do with the beginning? I mean, I guess is that supposed to be your arc? You went from a baby that's emotionally distraught from a movie to now how to put a horizon line on a film. I mean, it was just like a weird, or it culminated in your meeting your ultimate director, who basically said, get your stuff out the door.
So I think, to me, what I would have been more interested in, and of course, this was about his young childhood and growing up to be college age. I would have thought it would be more interesting, show him right at college. And what is influencing his movies? Where is he finding influence? Because very young, I understand he became friends with George Lucas and
who never makes an appearance.
Francis Ford Coppola.
That would have been interesting.
Francis Ford Coppola, I believe it was.
Yeah, they were all at USC
together. And man, now talk about a story of how that could have been, right?
And I completely forgot about that. I mean, they completely... Well, it never hit college, right? He never got out of high school.
No, I think he went...
that's right. That scene with his dad, who was mad at him because he was dropping out, and then he went to meet... And so I assume when he met John Ford. Then he went back to college or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. Because it would have been a more potent scene is when his dad was arguing, like, really, you're going to drop out? If Francis Ford Coppola and Lucas were like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
We got a great movie called, we're going to start doing THX 1193 or whatever the name of that movie is. So,
I don't know. I don't know, like,
it was just so
why
many
they
misses.
didn't go in that direction.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been too long to go that direction. But I think that would have been the more interesting part of his life.
Yeah. Break it into 3 movies.
Yeah.
Do that movie, do the middle when the mom's crazy, and then as a kid, blah, 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 somewhere in there. But yeah, I agree. I mean.
So that's why you came up with a 7-1. And
I
came up with a 7-9. I liked it. Like I said, not his best, not his worst. But,
Right.
It was
could have been better.
Could have been a whole
Spielberg,
lot
you know better.
Yeah.
There's a reason I have you lower in my echelon of rankings.
No, he's done a lot of great movies. This just wasn't one of them. So I think we're showing E.T., Back to the Future, Jurassic Park,
Indiana Jones
in the back. So, oh well, Jaws somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So I want to hear what the Cult Lords viewers think. Did you like this movie? Did you like the Fabelmans? Were you interested by this story? Were you a little surprised by this story? I mean, that's kind of like some personal stuff that he put out there about his family and especially his parents.
I didn't know he had 2 sisters or 3 sisters.
Yeah.
I mean,
2 or 3.
Yeah. So I mean, where have they been?
I know. I don't know.
They're probably like pissed that he put this out.
All right. I don't know. Like, what does the mom and the Seth Rogen character think about this movie? Because those were real.
Are they?
No,
Are they all around still?
Yeah, I think they are. I don't think they are. I don't know.
Benny?
I'm not 100% sure.
Where are you, Benny?
So, all right. Well, yeah, we want to hear what you guys think right after you subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell us in the comments, did you like The Fabelmans? Was it a good movie? Was it worth nominations for Academy Awards? You tell us. I'd be interested to read these comments. So,
yeah. Was it worth paying $15 to see it in a theater?
Thankfully, I didn't do that. So I streamed it.
Yeah.
So. But
I did too.
Yeah, you streamed it free off my Voodoo.
That's right.
So.
And even I gave it a low score. It was free.
Yeah. See? I guess nothing is. Nothing. It's worth more.
Quality.
Would you have gone up if you paid for it?
No, okay. I would have even been more mad.
Okay.
I would have went lower.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, Dane, get us on out of here. What do you want to say?
All right. Train's gonna crash! Watch out! All right, everybody. Peace out.